it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up? What up? What is up? Happy Thursday to everybody. May the 8th. Moving right along the month of May. Hope everyone had a great day. 4 days down in this work week. Thursday is the bridge to Friday, and you know what that means. We are almost at the weekend. In fact, what a better way to help us transition than a live bet show tonight. And we'll be popping off at about 7:15. So about an hour and 10 minutes here on Sports Money. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a good time tonight. I'll tell you, the fellas are assembling. They're ready to come on board and help us find winners. Is the audio funky? Let me look. Thank you for pointing that out. And let me see. Let me see. We're plugged in. We're plugged in there.
There we go. How about that now? Are we much? We should be better to go. Many live streams ago with cocktails flying around as they do. I apparently decided to see if my microphone could go a full 360 on this mic stand, and, well, it does. But there's a power cord at the bottom of that thing, so let's see. Let's see. Sounds low. Better now. How we doing? Let me see. Let me see this thing. I get loud. I get excited about this stuff here. I want to make sure that we have, at least you can hear me. I'm going to get loud. It's going to be exciting, but hopefully this is good to go now. We'll see. We'll have to see if you guys can give me the yay or the nay. But Thursday night, live, 7:15, Sports Money. We got some Sports Money crew rolling through here. We got our guy Sharpie Betts going to join us tonight. Keith Each Every Stride, and our guy Miggity Mac, Daddy, all lined up, ready to go, and more. The list is growing. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we got some great games to look at tonight, right? We've got 2 NHL games. Can these home teams even up the series? That is the question. We will see. We've got Carolina against the Washington Capitals. We've got Edmonton against the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Then we've got the Golden State Minnesota game. Of course, the big news of the day, there is no Steph Curry. Will it make a difference? Books are lighting this thing heavy. Peterson's good here now. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And then Major League Baseball. They're leaving us with just a, is it a 4-cap tonight? A little 4-pack. 4-pack of action. We've got action, in fact. We've got Philadelphia and Tampa Bay, Cincinnati and Atlanta, Toronto and the Angels, and the Dodgers and the D-backs. Not the D-bags, the D-backs. So it's going to be fun. We're going to get after it. We're going to do what we do. And man, I'll tell you, I was laughing earlier today. It's not funny. It's actually rather upsetting. But I was just thinking, man, for the last, between golf and the last couple of days, we've been one spot away from just having a monster. And it happens again in golf today. You know, we were sitting on Colin Morikawa to get the first round leader. And he finishes 2 strokes back. Keith Mitchell goes out there and takes the lead. Some of the other guys that we talked about, like Sepp Straka, right there and in play. So we've got top 20s, top 10s, top 5s. First round leaders aren't going to come through, and then outright winners. So plenty of action still to be had when it comes to this golf tournament. The fun part about this one, it's the prep for the PGA Championship. That is the second major of the year. And this field, while be it the first time at the Philadelphia Cricket Club with the PGA, does not have any cuts. So it might behoove you to look at some of these guys like Michael Kim. I'm not saying go out there and fire a bomb on Michael Kim, but man, he's +2. There's no cuts. He can make some room. He's got a great iron game to go out there and try to find you some plus money. It's not like he's that far back. I mean, he's back. He's 11 back, but can he get into the top 20? Can he pick up a +800 on this guy moving into the top 20 to finish the golf tournament with no cuts? That's what makes golf so much fun. There's a lot of ways to get after it, not just the outright leader. Obviously, we all want the big 50-1 bomb or the 40-1 bomb, but it doesn't work like that every day. So we found plenty of ways, cash some 400s, 500s, 900s over the last couple of weeks. Then I was thinking about the MLB. So we had a decent day. We had a profitable day yesterday, between the premium picks and the afternoon show, for just under 4.5 units of gained profit for the day. Not a bad day. However, the difference between not a bad day or a decent day and a huge day was the bottom of that 9th inning. What an absolute heartbreaker. The Los Angeles Angels stacked the bases up. It's 4-2. A big double play, or a big double, I should say. And they lose. The Angels find a way to win 5-4. If you had the Angels, consider yourself absolutely fortunate. That should have never been the case. And, it's a 2-unit swing. It's a difference between 4.5 units and 6.5 units or even more. And that's the way it goes. I was looking at that game today. I gave out the Bubic over 5.5 strikeouts, parlayed with the under 8.5 in Kansas City. 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning for Kansas City. Are you kidding me? I turn away. I look back. I'm like, whoa, we were looking great. Now they got 10 runs, and it was a 10-0 final. So the White Sox did their part. Kansas City's bats just kept cooking. We did win on that Boston Red Sox -1. Nice little spot to cash us on there. Then took a swing with the Rockies. Despite it being Casey Mize on the bump. Doubleheader on top of that. But I knew that going into it. I knew it was a doubleheader. It was either the under or the +1.5. Wouldn't have mattered either way. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. But again, some fun action in play tonight here. Got a couple of double dippers. Kind of some, not quite double dippers, but some unique ways, I think, to approach a bunch of these games involving multiple spots on a few of these games. So short card was 6 games that we're going to kind of cover here, but I think we've got 8 or 9 total plays. Plenty of action to get us to the window. Plenty of way. And then, of course, when we go live, we'll see what everybody else has with our panel to give us them winning bets. Want to get your guys' bets in the chat. Want to talk about what you guys are on out there for that cash. I want to say thanks. You guys are doing a great job with not only the thumbs up, in-show thumbs up, but out of show, the comments. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to catch up on them all. I want to make sure I get responses to every one of you guys taking the time to comment. That means a ton. I told you guys before, there's a couple of ways to really help the show. We are viewer supported. Not just showing up, but smashing the thumbs up when we're in the show. Taking the time to comment out of the show, whether you're on a play, you're tailing a play, you're fading a play, any way that you're going down there, just a comment, just saying comment in the comment section helps us a ton. And we'll personally respond to each of you guys. So thank you guys for doing that. It is making headway here. Viewership is up. I think there's a couple of things here. We've added some new programming. You guys making the comments, YouTube fixing us onto the home screen when people are looking for sports betting, all things that are helping us lead to the growth here at Sports Money. So very much want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys here. We're building a community together. It takes all of us to get there. And it's not just guys on screen giving plays, but you guys showing up, showing out, smashing the leg, hitting the comments, giving your best bets, all of that stuff is why I say this is the best community in the business. A lot of people will talk about it. I'm going to tell you, those people talking about their communities, man, they're 2-3 weeks behind everything else that we're talking about here. Just wait. Just wait. Mark my words. What's today? May 8th. May the 8th. It's a Thursday. Over under 10 days. Over under 10 days. being generous with 10 days. We'll say 10 and a half, just so there's no pushes. How many more days until some of these prognosticators start talking about baseball teams that got shut out that go out there and win the next day? I say under 10 and a half days. By May 18th, you're going to hear this wide across YouTube. Mark my words. We're innovative. We're tip of the spear. You guys are all part of this thing that we're doing here, and it's so much fun to come in here on a daily basis. Sucks when we're not coming in here celebrating winners, but fortunately, that was not the case last night. It was a nice night. I mentioned that Blue Jays game. I'll kind of work bottom up. Dallas. The Dallas Stars. We had the sharp, respected betting report coming in on Dallas. Dallas gets the win 3-2. What a weird game. Right? I mean, no goals in the first period. 5 goals in the second period. No goals in the third period. I know I was hanging out with some of the fellas late last night, and somebody had talked about no goals in the third period at plus 1,000. Got that cash last night. Wasn't me. But I was on them Dallas Stars. They got her done against them Jets. Low score, though. What a game. What a series that's going to be. And how about Mika Rantanen? I mean, you got to talk about this guy. I kind of foo-fooed him with a bad attitude going over to Carolina, but man, 6 goals and 1 assist in 2 games, a game 7 and a game 1. That is phenomenal. Dallas does break the streak or trend. What was it? 8 games. They hadn't won a game 1 in a series. We know they've won 8 straight game 7s. They finally snapped that streak for game 1s. And the OKC Thunder. I told you guys, we talked about this from the line reading perspective, the masterclass in line reading. Team loses outright, and the books don't bring the line down. They increase it. Of course, we had to fire on OKC, and they fired. They won that game by 43 points. The over was good money as well. Kansas City did stay under the 8.5 last night. That hurts today. That was like a plus 240. That's a plus 240 today that just crumbled at the bottom of the 8th inning, much like that Angels game last night. Double dipped the Philly game last night. First 5 under did not cash. It was 6-0. Full game under 8.5 did cash. It finished 7-0. So we did get some cash, albeit a little bit there. Little split the middle, but the Florida Panthers are probably the talk of the situation here. 4-3. Toronto downs them again as they move down to Florida. That Toronto team is going to be tough to wrangle. Now, maybe Ekblad, Star coming back. I don't know. I mean, look, they're down 3-2. They score. They finally score. And I was like, man, I think I grabbed a live line on Washington around plus 450. But I see him score. I'm like, yes. And I went over to, I don't know, put a dish away or something. And I hear the horn blow, and I'm like, are they showing the replay? No, it was Toronto scoring again right on top of them. Put them down. Trisha M., your Ice Cats cost me yesterday. Hindsight, regulation or -1 would have been lower juice. How about them Boston Celtics? Another spot here. I mean, it's been wild and crazy the last 2 months here. Easily get us that -6.5 in the first half. They win the first half 50-41. We cash. They lose the game outright again. Unbelievable. Them Celtics, man, they soft. And they have now less than a 15% chance to win this series by the stats and history over the last, 10 years or so. Teams that lose game 1 and game 2 at home have to go on the road in the second series do not advance. 85% of the time, teams in the Knicks position advance for what it's worth by the numbers. And that's it. That's the way the day shook out. So kind of went from bottom up this time, try to reverse the order. But hey, it's a profitable day. We will take it. And hey, any day we're in the green is a good day. I think we're going to have a good day today. I feel really good about this. I'm excited. Fellas want to get out there, live stream. I'm always down to live stream. Thursday nights are our night. That's our window. Obviously, it's a lot more fun when we have the NFL, but we have great playoff games in store tonight. So can't wait. Can't wait to get down, get a couple cocktails in us here as we move towards the weekend. It's important that we hydrate. Got to hydrate as we're getting ready to dehydrate. So I have a parlay in deck tonight. A couple first 5 plays in baseball. Some big money line shots here. And I think, speaking of thinking there, that LA Angels game, I mentioned to you guys, if we were having a good day, which we were, it was going to be same game parlay time. It was over 25-1 to get both pitchers to get their K props. The Angels team total under, the game under, and Toronto to win. I mean, it was heartbreaking. As a Blue Jays fan, I've come used to it. Damn it hurt. Maybe you guys had heard this afternoon. I'm not agnostic or an atheist here, but at the same time, there is a new pope. Villanova grad, first time in 2,000 years. They've added American from Chicago. I saw a great meme. It said, "Da Pope." Let's go. We already extend our influence across the world, and it gets even bigger. So that's exciting stuff to see. Quick turnaround. They said Chicago got a pope elected before the Chicago Bears have a 4,000-yard passing quarterback. I think that's a fact. So that's it. That's the way it goes here. Now, I did hear we're going to give a Stolars update for this Florida and Tampa situation. I told you, 7 to 10 days with this dude. It's not an accident. Dude was thrown up in a bucket. He did not make the trip to Florida, as I understand it. Now, listen, Wall looked pretty good. I mean, he let up 3 goals, but Toronto was leading that entire series or that entire game. So, with all due respect, he played well. I don't know if it's going to be good enough when he gets down there into Florida to finish her off, but nonetheless, Stolars, I said 7 to 10 days. I expected game 6. So we'll put our neck on the line. We'll see if it's game 6. If he's not there for these next 2, we're going to be moving into game 5 when they come back to Toronto. And frankly, if they split the series down there in Florida and it goes 1-1, Toronto goes up 3-1, and they come back to Toronto to close the series out, they're not putting Stolars in. Probably what happens is if Florida comes back to Toronto, it goes 3-2, and they move back down to Florida, probably that's when you see Stolars go in there. And when is that? Game 6. Don't fuck around with this stuff. We do this stuff for a living. Come on now. Bunch of nut jobs. Oh, he might play in game 2. Are you fucking crazy? Dude was thrown up in a bucket. He ain't playing game 2. Crazy. And again, Wolves looking pretty decent out there. But that's it. That's all I got for you guys from a recap perspective. You know what? Let's get moving here. We got a bunch of things to cover. We got a live stream popping off here. Make sure this is the time of the show that you show your support. Smash that thumbs up button for us. I said it at the start of the show. In show, thumbs up. Post show, comments. I think we had a good one yesterday. I got to check. I thought it was like 16. I thought we had 16 post show comments. So if you're not commenting post show, you're not doing your job. That's all we need. One comment. Say comment. Say Mikey Money. Say May 8th. Say no more rain delays. Say something in the comments post show. But now's the time of the show to smash that thumbs up button and we'll get her rolling. We're also at the point where I have to make an important decision. A very important decision. The challenge was thrown down to grow the playoff beard. Playoff beard's getting a little bit longer than I expected. And I'm going to have to make a decision. Do I ride it out for the playoff beard or do I tighten things up here? I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. See how I feel when keep her winning. Maybe I'll just have to keep her going out there. Let's go, guys. Pen and paper out. The best chatters in the business are here. They're ready to roll. We're going to get through their best bets. I want to talk about them. That's my favorite part of the show. And then I'll talk to you about the plays that I'm on. We'll talk back and forth about whether they're going to be winners or losers, but you know the deal. You're going to want to take note. You're going to want to write these down. The action goes all night. And we're going to go all night here with the live stream. And, of course, make sure you put those plays out there so we can talk about them. And I want to shout out our guy, Joe Dub. Joe Dub in the house. Thanks for the afternoon winners. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate all you guys that have decided to increase your support of sports money. And I'm happy to take the time to send them plays your way. Shout out to Nicholas Handy, Peter Gracia, Voodoo Ranger. Peter Gracia says, Ranger scored too much. They did. Or Royal scored too much. They did. 2 less, we would have been just fine. Jay Maines here, ready to roll. Jay Maines says, any NCAA baseball? Look, I'll take a stab at some things. College baseball is not my forte. I'll tell you what I have been keeping an eye on. And I'll look tonight. There are some teams catching steam. They move from -1.5s to 2.5s and 3.5s. And parlaying those -1.5s has been a little thing I do on the side. It's not my strength or forte. I feel like I'm chasing, to be honest with you, when I start getting into that. But I'll look because I want to get more involved in that. I want to get more involved in the UFL. And I want to get more involved in some NASCAR as well. So there's some DGen stuff here because it's summer. And those are going to be the spots that we need to capitalize on. Shout out to Stop Geo Engineering. There's Trisha M. Says those ice casts cost me. Yeah. Yeah, me too. And I got that series bet on them now. Plus 105. That price tag's going to be even better. What up, old E? Ken Woods in the house. And J-Man likes Philly -2. Little Pepio matchup there with none other than Jesus Lazardo. We'll talk about that game. Shout out to AOD. And there's our guy, Ramon Scott. He's running so hot. Deportes de Nero, he says. Let's go. AOD is almost at the Caps game. Love y'all. Likes the Caps money line. Asking how the game was. Ovi goal. You got to take a look at that. Velo Coots. Trisha M. Tale of 2 games. Peter Grassi says it's a team effort. Damn right it is. Action Jackson says it's Thirsty Thursday. There's Twisted. Twisted, I thought you were going to hit me up, my dude. Philly. Cincy run line. Toronto money line, Capitals money line, and the under 5.5. The Oilers money line and leaning over 6.5. Golden State Warriors. Okay. Peter's taking the under. All right. J-Man's got some trends that got him second guessing Phil's. Only swept Rockies. Haven't won a Road Series getaway day game yet. I saw the line move down. The line has come down. And that's not a ton. But it has come down. And one would ask themselves, Pepio's doesn't. We'll talk about that game here in a few minutes. OKC was nice line, plus the over money. Oldie learned the hard way. ZC, PFL live stream tomorrow afternoon. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. We'll see if we can come up with some PFL plays. I know that. Peter Gracia says Celtics in big trouble. Absolutely. Peter was at Fenway last night, but he listened. I know he listened. Peter says the Toronto Leafs are surprising him. Now that was my future. Stop Geos is locking in Vegas Knights. Florida versus Toronto. 7 games is plus 180 and 6 games is plus 230. Can catch some juice. Man, that boys are going to have to start doing something. Stop Geo's giving a shout out to the playoff beard. Robert McCormick's in the house. Kirk Ray says, grow the sides out. Well, I'm not growing the sides out. Not growing the side. I usually cut the hairline cut is right about here. I'm not cutting this, growing the sides out. Nasty Nate says, how about them Red Sox? Kirk Ray likes the Hurricanes money line. Michael Lester's in the house. You got to look at Buddy Hield, man. The guy's been, look, only one of 5 players to do what he's done in the NBA right now. It's unbelievable. This guy's 3-point prowess. Ant-Man over 7.5 rebounds plus 279 on Willie Hill. Each and every stride in the house, my guy. I messaged him to say, I said, are you alive? Hope you had a good birthday, Keith. Enjoyed spending a few minutes with a cocktail. Peter Gracia says, Nate, right on the running. Red Sox twisted. Dropped Auburn -3.5 and Kansas -2.5. Maybe the under 8.5. There you go. That's what we need. The community working together. Dana Delp says Reds, Atlanta, Nerfy. Sancho Timberwolves, Hurricanes money line. Dodgers money line, Vegas money line plus 190. I like it. Parlaying a couple spots together. Get the vig, get the juice out of there, get the spreads out of there. Nathan Stern is on fire. Hit a royal flush. Nice, dude. I'm terrible at poker. I'm just not good. Jay Main says Ramon dropped the Auburn and Kansas and maybe the under and a half. There you go. The morning steam with our guy Ramon Scott. Voodoo Ranger says Cincy, Atlanta first 500, 4.5. Atlanta money line and runs live if down. Cincy bullpen is waxed. Lean Ladola over. Oh, that was the other piece I was going to talk about too. I was raving about Hunter Green yesterday. And he ends up getting hurt and getting pulled out. Oh, man. You don't want to see that. Lewis Eisenhower says Ant-Man for the points in the first quarter. I like them player props in the first quarter. Nathan Serta says he went officially with the under 5.5 in the Canes Caps. Laker Boy believes that Toronto is trash and can't be trash. I don't know which Toronto you're talking about there. I know it's not the Raptors, but they are trash too. Nathan Serta says I got Santa beard going too, but it's in black. Hey, I wish it was darker. But it is what it is. Stop Geoengineering says DK 33% money line. Major League Baseball live boost, at least here in Michigan. Yep. Dana Delp thinks 0-0 first period. M's giving us the hola, and I'm going to launch this boat off the dock, you guys. What do you think about that? We'll keep her moving. Brisk pace today. Spent a few minutes digressing on some sports that are out there, some takes, some thoughts to get involved with. Big Scott says, grow the beard all the way through the Stanley Cup finals. I might. I wish it wasn't as gray. That's all. I mean, I'm not a young man, but I'm not an old man. You know what I mean? Game number one we're going to talk about. We're going to start with Major League Baseball. You guys kind of heated up at the headway here. It's going to be a 7:05 start. It's going to be the Phillies and the Tampa Bay Rays. Kirk Gray likes the over in the Vegas game. We look at this game here. This thing opened up at minus 132. It's moved all the way up to minus 150. It was up to, I think, 154, and I saw a couple of cents come back. So at this point, it's gone to the cliff. The sharps have said, okay, at this point now we're going to start taking some plus money on the Tampa Bay Rays. The total's moved up a point or a half a run. Silver Fox. I used to work with a real old dude that should have retired a long time ago. And he had a full head of lettuce, man. Full head. And it was fully gray. He was the Silver Fox. His name was Mike as well. Interesting enough. Shout out to him. 82% of the bets, 80% of the cash have moved this total from 8.5 to some 9s. Not a true 9, though. Just some leading books kind of jumping on that 9. Still juiced to the 8.5 and to the under. Well, I guess 8.5 to the over. The 9 is plus 102. 85% of the bets, 91% of the cash on the over. And it's not hard to imagine why. It's Jesus Luzardo with a 1.94 ERA. It's Ryan Pepio. At the start of the year, I was high on Pepio. Jumped off the Pepio train. Predominantly because he has been leaking like a bucket with a bunch of holes in it. And that's bad news with this Phillies team rolling in. Man, you look at this thing, 15-4. The Phillies have outscored Tampa Bay in the first 2 games of this series. We were lucky to cash that under full game yesterday. I mean, it was flying. 6 runs in the first 5 innings. Wow. Trying to complete the sweep. We know it's very difficult to complete the sweep. But here comes Jesus with a 1.94 ERA through 7 starts. Also a little extra caveat there. He's a southpaw. Looking great. It's almost a 28% strikeout rate on top of that. So that's where things become problematic. And then on top of that, he's got a 6.5% walk rate. 2 runs or fewer allowed in every single game but 1. He does leak just a little bit on the road. But look, end of the day, the Rays not good against lefties. And the last 2 weeks, even worse. They're 2.56 through the season. We like to take that 2-week segment now. Let's see what they're doing in recent form. And they're down to a 2.20, which means they're getting worse. They're regressing against lefties. Problem. Pepio on the same time, regressing. And he's got a 1.41 whip. That means he's putting ducks on the pond every single inning. That's an issue if you're playing against them boys like Harper and Schwarber. Turner, Castellanos, you name it, up and down the lineup. It has nothing to do with fandom. Just the fact that now you're struggling against lefties and the Phils are crushing righties. They're a 394 over the last week. Drill that thing down even more. They're running red hot against righties. So you got Luzardo, who's running phenomenal. Pepio, who's not. Bats that are struggling against a lefty on Tampa, and bats that are crushing it against a righty on Philadelphia. In a ballpark that likes to see runs. And you got a pitcher that's putting ducks on the pond. What are we talking about here? Look. First 5 innings, -0.5. Philadelphia Phillies. Play number 1. Play number 2, one leg of the parlay, Philadelphia. Second leg of the parlay, LA Dodgers. Maybe it's square, but I'll tell you about the Dodgers here. We'll talk about these guys really quick. I know it's a little out of order, but it's fine because it's the second leg. It's the only spot I have on that Dodgers game at the moment. No substantial line movement on the Dodgers side of things here. It went from -154 to nothing. 89% of the bets and 92% of the cash on the Dodgers. However, the Diamondbacks, went from +130 to +143. Basically, what I'm doing with this thing here is I'm taking the Cy Young type pitcher in Yamamoto, the righty with a .9 ERA through 7 starts. You can trust in him. You can trust in Luzardo. And I just slap the two together. No -1s. We don't want to walk away with a push on a spot where we have such a substantial opportunity to line them up. Furthermore, we have thought. This dude struggled at the end of last season. 7 runs allowed to the Phillies in that. I mean, look, this dude's just, again, I mean, these two spots line up almost identical to me. Team's hitting great. There's no question. The league's best the league's best bats against right-handed pitchers, the Dodgers. And then the other spot would be the Phillies. Now, if you want to talk about some trends, Arizona, home dog, total more than a 7.5. They're 0-8 in game 1 of a series. We talk about some of these teams can't start off a series. You know why that is? It's real simple. Maybe it's a little bit more complicated than simple. But if you got a number 1 pitcher, typically when they start a series, this is the simple part. You put your number 1 out there. Number 1 versus number 1. If your number 1's really a number 2, or the other team's number 1's really a 1A and you got a 1B, you got a mismatch. And that's what they have when they're going out there rolling a guy like Fott to start a series. That's why the Dodgers should dominate this game. I like both these teams, both the Phillies and the Dodgers, first 5s, lay the run lines. I did that with the Phillies. I haven't done that yet with the Dodgers because I did parlay the Phillies and the Dodgers. I'll reserve the right if something goes amok in that Philadelphia game with that late movement to jump back in and probably look at a Dodgers -1. Dodgers -1 was sitting around -130, so it was still a little juicy. To me, it just seems like those two plays make the most sense. So there you go. Phillies first 5 -0.5. Phillies parlayed with the Dodgers works out to be about a +180. Don't matter. Action Jackson says a hard fought battle. All right. I got you. I can get back to it. No reason I really stopped other than I spent a little bit more time with the graphics towards the buildup and trying to make sure I maximize the opportunity at the end. So I got you. Likes to bet on the fly as I go through the card. All right. I hear you. You guys ask, I will deliver. It's a pain in the ass. Put the banners out there. But I will. I'll do it for you guys. You guys ask, I'll do it. I'm a man of the people. It's the least I can do. I got 2 plays in this game. Where are we at here? Started clicking. I got out of line. All right, so we have the Phillies. First, the nice little YouTube maneuver there is if you're going to go back and listen to a play, I scroll through a little bit. It gets me some extra watch minutes. That's not why I do it, but it does work out nice. Kirk Rayleigh, Ohtani, 2 RBIs at +350. The only way I would take him is 2 plus. I like it. Nathan Cerdas got just the Pizza Hut. Just got some Pizza Hut. Did you get the big box? Did you get some breadsticks? What'd you get, Nathan Cerdas? I like some Pizza Hut. Gives me a little heartburn, but I like some Pizza Hut. Pizza the Hut, I found out they opened a new pizza shop around the corner, and everyone's been raving around it. So I went to get some the other night. Fucking guys don't deliver. I can't believe it. Is that a thing? I couldn't believe they don't deliver. I was like, really? You're not delivering? And at that point, I'd already made my order. I'd already given my credit card. And then I was like, you never asked me for my address. And I said to the guy at the start, like, to get an order for delivery. Must have not heard me say delivery. I don't know. 7:15 p.m. The Cincinnati Reds are on the road again to close the series out against the Atlanta Braves. The new cheese bite. Don't get their wings. Please don't. For the love of God, don't get the Pizza Hut chicken wings. If you guys are in an area where you think the Pizza Hut chicken wings are fantastic, I'd almost get you some wings and send them to you via FedEx. I don't think they'd be very good when they got there, but man. The Reds and the Braves. Braves are big favorites, and they continue to become a wider favorite. Minus 168 to minus 200. 78% of the bet, 74% of the cash on the Braves. Little bit of a differential coming in on the other side here. It was Hunter Green that saved the day in a low-scoring series, again, with this Reds and Braves spot. 84% of the bets, 84% of the cash have hit the Reds over. It has gone nowhere. Got me a gooey Louie hoagie. Go Phillies. Wow. That sounds good. Nathan Cerna says, Swellenbach. All right. Breaking it down, getting into it. It is Swellenbach with a 3.92 ERA and Lodolo, Mickey L with a 3.27 ERA in this spot. Truest part. Have the unders not been flying in this series here? In fact, the Braves have got 4 straight going back to the last game against the Dodgers, and they won that game. They're now 3-1 in their last 4. The Reds did pick up a win yesterday, much to the dismay of losing Hunter Green. He was looking good too. Man, he was looking good. That being said, I've been pretty, by the way, K-props. I don't know if you guys noticed here. I think I got 3 or 4 in a row on the K-prop game here. K-props are starting to move. We'll keep our eyes on those because I do have another little look I like later today. But that being said, I'm not the K-prop guy. I am the fade the Reds guy, though. And the way I'm going to attack this one is twofold. We're going to go double dip on this game as well. First and foremost, I got Schwellenbach to get the win. It's a plus 125 price tag. I like Atlanta in the first 5 against Lodolo. I like Atlanta to win this game. You know, minus that snafu yesterday. We called that. We knew that team was going to be in the suspect situation with Hunter Green on the bump. I told you guys that first cut was Kansas City first 5 under and the Cincinnati Reds first 5. Not today. Give me some Schwellenbach at plus 125 to go out there and just shut these guys down. I mean, it's that simple. This line moved from plus 130. It's down to plus 125s now in most books. Starting to see some plus 120s on top of it. So the steam is coming in on these guys to start top to finish, gate to wire, wire to wire, whatever you want to call it, for the Atlanta Braves to go out there and handle this Cincinnati Reds team. And it's predominantly what is inconsistency with these bats. Took them 5 games to put up a 4-run game. And that, again, was at the back of Lodolo with a subpar pitcher on the Braves side of things here. Not today. The other spot I'm looking at with this game is I got to go back to the under. Not going to reinvent the wheel. We have intersecting zeros. The under's 13-0 when Atlanta's home as a favorite against a lefty. It's going under the total by 2.8 runs a game. And Cincy, trying to close out a road series when they've had 3 straight unders or more, are 12-0 to the under. When it comes time to put the bats in the bag and pack up and get out of town, they do. And they do it better than anybody. They're going under by almost 4 runs a game. It's with that thought process in mind, that significant margin of under, that I thought Schwellenbach, if they could just pick up 2 runs in the first couple innings, they could win that first 5. Now, we need Schwellenbach to go 5 innings, obviously, minimum. And we need the Braves to be winning when he gets out of there. And then they got to win the game, right? So we get all of that, but I think they're in a position against the Cincinnati Reds team, who was lucky to catch that win yesterday. And maybe not lucky. That's not fair, but just not a team that strikes confidence in you right now. They're just on the one win. Is it enough to shake the demons loose. So it's a double dipper. Full game under. I've got the full game under 8 at minus 108 on FanDuel. Does concern me a touch, a smidge. I saw that before sportsbooks went legal, Vegas, right? So I should say the technical term is the Federal Act of Sports Gambling got repealed and they made it legal, right? Vegas had a 5.8% handle on all of sports betting. That was the amount of book that they captured, 5.8% Vegas. I want to say that the number was 14.8%. It was either 14.8% or 15.8% for FanDuel. FanDuel. So I was starting to think to myself, why is it when FanDuel has the best number, it's not good? Because there's such a public book. They've got 3 times the most handle Vegas ever had in FanDuel. And if they're attracting you to a spot, I think that's why it's a bad spot to be. However, not today. Not with those intersecting zeros. I just thought a little pontification around why the hell is this thing happening the way it is? Why is it that when FanDuel's jacking a number up or giving you a discount, it's a loser? To me, it says because they're begging you. In this case, they don't have to beg me too hard. It's the ineptness of these offenses against these particular pitcher situations. I think it's a good spot for us here tonight. Double dipper. That's the last double dipper. Small card, still finding value, still finding ways to get paid. Man, you guys are making me hungry. You guys are making me hungry. Sancho likes the Reds money line. Vegas first period over. Okay. Derek B does not say sports. Says the Reds are the dog of the day, though. Okay. All right. I guess we're going to. Yeah, Hunter Green did get hurt. Braves not hitting lefties, are they? That's it. Those are the numbers. Yep. And they find themselves in that 12-0 position against the lefties. So that's how that cookie crumbles. Let's move on to the last game I've got in the baseball bets today. I think we'll have touched every game. 1, 2, yep. The last one on the, I say it like there's a lot. There's 4 of them. We better touch them all. The Blue Jays and the Angels. Minor movement. Plus 108 for the Angels, moved to plus 115. That's because 74% of the bets and 81% of the cash are on the Jays. They moved from minus 126 to minus 127. So not a ton of movement there. Obviously, I talked about this at the start of the show. It was a 2-unit swing for us with that bottom of the 9th inning. It was disgusting. I cashed out on a multi-leg parlay at the absolute perfect time. So I'm pretty happy with myself for that, but I still lost the straight bet, so that sucks. And that was the bet that I gave out here on the show. That being said, 2 things. One, we know the Toronto Bats are struggling against righties. I got it. The Angels are as well. Not willing to just dismiss what they've done. Now, they've found 2 wins. We knew they were going to punch out T scumbag there. What was his name? Urania in game 1. That's why we were on the Angels. Barrios shoved. It's not that he didn't shove. We expected him to shove. I thought when they took the lefty out of the lineup and stuck righties in there for the bullpen that the Toronto Blue Jays would come through and shine. They leaked at the end. Their bullpen may be suspect as well. That being said, though, when you put it all together, look, Chris Bassett. Some people hating on Chris Bassett. They're saying this guy's numbers are in the regression category. Chris Bassett's sporting himself. He's going against Sirianno. I'm a Sirianno fan as well. That makes it a little bit more difficult for me because as I was looking at these 2, I thought of all the pitchers in the Angels bullpen. Now, some of you guys talked about Tyler Anderson. I give you that. But a 2.95 ERA for Bassett, 3.83 for Sirianno. So you have a little bit of an edge there. And then when they make him a small to medium favorite, Bassett deals. Minus 120 to minus 170. They're 20-5, the Blue Jays. And not that I use this as a dominant spot for capping, but they are facing the sweep. So there is some merit to it. I can break the numbers down for you guys one time around teams facing a sweep. I mean, it's not the biggest advantage, but there's certainly an advantage to teams facing the sweep. It is tough to sweep a team. We've seen quite a few of those this year so far. But the Blue Jays at a minus 125 price tag when they're in a 20-5 position with Bassett, knowing that, I mean, both bats can go cold. That's why I'm not taking the first 5 like Jays minus a half. When you have the struggling bats, I want as many at bats as you can get if I'm on that side to try to figure out a way to pull through it. Just the law of averages, right? The law of large numbers. The more shots they get, theoretically, the more likely they are to knock it home. So I think it's a good spot for Bassett, though, when you look at some of the batter versus pitching lineup here. Bassett K-prop. I was talking at the onset here about some of those K-props that I've been involved with here, and I had 2 that I liked today. The first one was obviously in that Kansas City game with Bubich. The second one was Bassett. It's a little pricey on 5.5, so I would consider laddering them up. Even 1. If you move them up to 1, you get yourself up to around a plus 145. But that's more to me of he's been doing all right. And the Los Angeles bats can get cold. So we saw that with Barrios yesterday. I think it's similar situation with Bassett today. So take a look at his K-prop, but I do like the Blue Jays. I locked in the Blue Jays minus 125. Next spot on the board. Twisted says individually, Austin Riley is leading the team with a 289 batting average. 8 home. I like Austin Riley. Ozuna, sure. Says, but those individual performances haven't been enough to offset the team's overall struggles against left-handed pitching. The run line for the Reds. Markel, I hope you had a good birthday, my man. Say, Mikey Money, I'm on Julius Randle plus 320 and 5.5 first quarter. I like the first quarter points props. I think you guys are in a good look on those spots there. Jerry Davis likes the ladder on Luzardo and Bassett. You know what? We'll get done with this show. I think I'm going to do a little bit of that myself. I think I'm going to sprinkle in there a little bit. And particularly the 2 and 3 plus on top of that, because they're both in optimum lineup situations against suspect batters out there. Nathan Cerna's got had the Royals minus 1.5 and the Twins minus 1.5. Twins beat up on them O's, didn't they? Gorky likes the Caps, the Braves, and the Dodgers. Let's go. Let's move in. I missed a graphic. My fault. It's not really a graphic, right? It's just an overlay. Should work on some graphics. Should work on upgrading our graphics game here. Just takes so much time. Just one guy. NHL time. Carolina Hurricanes battling the Washington Capitals. You know it's going to be Freddie Anderson. They just dumped a boatload of money on this guy. He came back from the injury. It's got to be Logan Thompson. Your back's against the wall. Now you're going to say, well, Mikey Money, it's only 1-0. How's their back against the wall? I used to shit on dudes that would say this is a must-win game. I think this is a must-win game for these fucking dudes. Bottom line, when you start looking and peeling the onion back here, the significance of the Carolina Hurricanes on home ice, particularly this season, 31-9-1 in the regular season, 3-0 in the playoffs. Now, those 3 games were New Jersey Devil games, but still, you can't go into Carolina down 2-0. Series is over. You got swept. Logan Thompson has to stand up. He's been playing great. 31 saves. I like Logan Thompson saves over tonight. I think it's 26.5 was the number I saw earlier today. Dude's been great. And then on the other side of things, look, you guys talking about the under, I fully get it. You know, you look at what Freddie Anderson did on top of that. It was a 2-1 game with overtime. It was a great game. Bottom line, it's a bounce back opportunity here. Capitals definitely have to shoot more. As long as they can find the net, get around this Carolina team. They're a bounce back team at home off a loss. We used to talk about the Boston Bruins. How about the Washington Capitals? 52-29 when they're at home after a loss. And they're going to play one of the toughest road spots in the NHL with that Carolina Hurricanes. You got to find more pucks on net. You got to get a little bit more physical. Tommy Wilson's got to step up and train wreck a couple of dudes. Now, granted, that last game was pretty physical, but I think Logan Thompson continues to play his head off. I like his save props. I'm not so in love with the shooting props with the Capitals because they're just not shooting. Until overtime, when I say that, if you want me to quantify it for you, regulation time, the Capitals had 13 shots. 13. They got to shoot more. They got to get the goalie moving side by side. And that, to your guys' point where you're talking about Ovechkin goals, that's the key. Because where does he like to score most of his goals from? One of the most difficult spots in hockey. If you don't believe me, go try it yourselves. Although I did score a shit ton of goals from that hash mark on the outside of the faceoff dot on the left-hand side. That's his position. He's a fucking sniper when he gets out there. And the best part about it, and why is he so successful? Because when you get the goalie not moving front to back, but side to side, it messes up that measurement and those angles that they have when it comes to kind of getting the corner of the post with the side of their pads. And nobody's better than Ovechkin at finding the gap. Literally. I mean, the guy's got the goal scoring record. So I like the Capitals. I do like the Capitals in this spot there. I like them to bounce back here, knowing that it is step it up, boys. If you got any guts left, a plus 147 spot, plus 150s on the Washington Capitals. I think they even the series up. I know that there's a lot of cash coming in on the Carolina Hurricanes. You know, I've never been a guy that really looks at the splits too much in detail with that regard, but I do think when it comes down to it, you know, we see Ovechkin score. You know what? I'm going to take a step back on that. It's not going to be the superstars that come through when these teams are in a clutch, except for maybe a guy like Connor McDavid. No, I'll be that. Not really in a clutch. How about Protas again? He scored a goal the other night. That's the kind of guy. Of the 13 shots they had, that dude had 4. You know they're going to be looking to tee up on Ovechkin, although I do like the Ovechkin side to side. If we see in the first period Ovechkin's got the goaltender moving side to side, it's going to be a good even if it's tied, it's going to be a good live betting opportunity for this Washington Capitals team. Can't just let that guy stand there and net like a fucking bump on a log. That's it. Edmonton Oilers, Vegas Golden Knights, game number 2 in the NHL. Voodoo Rangers is brought to there you go. On line number 1. What's up, so? They busted them boys up. Oh. Trisha M coming through. Remember what our guy Andrew said last Friday. Hard Rock, boost, Caps, and Ovi goal. That's because they're catching a lot of action on Carolina. And they're catching, I'd imagine, a lot of action. I don't know. I'd imagine that they're not catching enough action on Ovechkin goal, and he's probably priced at, I haven't looked at it. What is he? Probably run like plus 105? Let me look. Ovechkin plus 140. All right. Still the cheapest price guy on the card. Most expensive price, I guess, is the other way you could look at that, right? Nobody's got a lesser price tag than plus 140. Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis, and Schnitkov at plus 200 out there that you'll see. There's Tommy Wilson plus 290. I don't think he's the guy, though. There's Protas plus 410. First line. He's the other side of the back and forth with Ovechkin if they're going to get the goalies moving side to side. I know what? I don't want to steal the thunder from what he did the other day, but I wouldn't have any hesitation going back to that guy. They're going to tee up on Ovechkin. You know, as soon as the puck goes his way, they're going to shift aggressively in his direction to try to block it, which opens up when everybody's sliding and shifting. He just kind of goes a little whoop, bits it back over to the other side, and there's Protest. Goalie's moving side to side. He punches it home for a plus 410. How about them apples? Shout out to Old E. Old E gifted a Sports Money membership, my dude. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you very much. Blessing our action tonight. I'm going to get the cocktails flying here, and I will do a real drink to you, my friend. Thank you so much for being here, being a member of this Sports Money community, being a part of the disruption on this YouTube algorithm, professional disruption, you guys, making some noise, growing the community. Shout out to my guy, Old E. Much appreciation. What a good way to talk about this next game, because I do love this spot. I think both teams even the series up. There's the spoiler alert on this one. we look at the two. Of course, we've got Pickard, and Aiden Hill. Now, Pickard, 5-game winning streak, courtesy of the LA Kings falling apart, and Vegas not finding a way to win that first game on home ice. In the playoffs, this dude's got a .276 goals against average and 89.1% save percentage. But let's not forget, Vegas can score. 3.3 goals per game average for this Vegas Golden Knights. Aiden Hill, 247 goals against average. He's playing well. It's not his fault. Now, they're not quick to blame the goalie. I think a lot of that has to do with that's your guy. That's the horse that got you there. And that last game was something. They lost by 2 goals. We talked about it around the Oilers. Talked about that margin on top of that one as well. 3 straight unders for the Vegas Golden Knights. 2 of the last 3 have gone under for the Edmonton Oilers. Is it going to be a defensive showdown, or is Pickard going to finally expose himself here? And I don't mean that in a call the cops type of way. I think it is exposure time, though. The Oilers, 3-4 when they're road dogs after a road playoff win. In other words, they're content going in there, splitting the series, and then taking it back home and trying to win both games. And that's kind of the goal, right? If you're the road team, you want to go out there, you want to get one of the two. If you get them both, it's a bonus. But you know that you've kind of neutralized home ice advantage by splitting that first series 1-1. Because you're getting a game back at home when it comes down to the extra win to stay in situations. And then on the other side of things here, the Vegas Golden Knights, the counterpoint, when they're favorites in a playoff game at home, off a home loss, they're 3-0. Now, they're not huge samples. I get that. Fully aware. But it does kind of show, look, they bounce back. The Oilers are comfortable just kind of packing the bag up and going home. And the thing about Vegas that I think has this, why is this number not larger? Maybe some people would be asking themselves. First and foremost, Edmonton was the favorite last game. So it's not a matter of, now they're switching to Vegas being the favorite. So you could sit there and say, why is it not wider? Well, it's moved 50 cents, 60 cents from where it opened up the last game. Pietrangelo, third line dude, injured. Vegas off a loss at home overall, 31-12. There's a wider sample for you guys. And last but not least, Sharp Respected Betting Report chimed in, and they jumped in on the Vegas Golden Knights. And that's where I'm playing. Vegas Golden Knights tonight. I don't care if Petrangelo's out. Third line doesn't scare me. He is day-to-day, okay, but let's talk some players that you want to take a look at and keep an eye on with this game here. Of course, top dude across the board, Jack Eichel. He looked pretty good last game. You know who I like is Barbashev. I said this the other day. He's a guy I can get down with. And, of course, Mark Stone. I thought I had that Vegas closed. Am I looking at the wrong spot? Let me look. Let me look. Oh, you're right. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Minus 132. My fault. Still a bounce back opportunity. Look at this guy coming in here. Lando. What's up, Lando? Like Shea Theodore. I like the defenseman. I've said this before time and again. I like that because, the way hockey gets played, you put it on net, you shuffle it back around to the defenseman, and the defenseman acts as the quarterback. You put some traffic in front, and then they pop the shot. So I like Shea Theodore over 2.5. The only challenge I have is, can he get to the net? Meaning, can the puck get to the net? There's going to be a lot of bodies in front of this dude, and we know in playoff time, that's when guys start blocking shots. Yeah, block shots are always something to look. I always thought that's a crapshoot. It's hard to predict anything when it comes to the NHL, but a guy to block shots, I don't know. That seems like a tricky one, but I like that spot. I can get down with that. Shea Theodore. I'm going to take the Vegas Golden Knights to bounce back here at home. The numbers show their direction. I got both spots. What's up, Wine Time Sports? My guy, let's go. He says, let's get it. Let's close her out. The news of the day, Steph Curry not playing in this game. The line did move 9 to 10.5. Now, this is kind of like we talked about yesterday with OKC. 72% of the bets, only 59% of the cash on the Golden State Warriors. 87% of the bets, 90% of the cash on the over. It's gone from 202.5 down to 201. I don't think those matter because it is the Steph Curry's out factor. The only question is, have they moved the line too much? Is Steph Curry a 5-point guy when it comes to the side? Because last game, the Timberwolves were -6. Now they're minus 10.5s and 11s. I don't think it's Steph Curry you got to watch out for. On the flip side, the total is Steph Curry a 10-point guy. Somewhere in between is the real number. This line opened at 210 last game. It's now down to those 201s. Again, we know why. The question is just how do you value a Steph Curry situation? That's a hard answer. I mean, the guy's obviously prolific and he can go out there and dominate at any given time. But let's not forget the likes of guys like, I mentioned Buddy Hield. I mentioned his dominance and what he's been doing out there. Yeah, Julius Randle's got to get his shit together. The numbers are suggesting he will get his shit together. If his offense stinks, Minnesota's in trouble. And you should be able to tell that pretty quickly. I like his prop for the over 19.5 points tonight. I thought that was a fine, fair number. Jimmy Butler, without Steph Curry, he's got to pass the ball around. He's getting tons of minutes, so you don't have to worry about his prop numbers out there. He had that little bit of a woe in the first round, but 41 minutes a game. I mean, the dude's flying. 41 or more minutes in 3 consecutive games. You don't have to worry about the cap on his numbers when he gets out there. And then again, I mentioned Buddy Hield and his dominance from the 3. And that's why I'm going to take the over in this game. I think you bring this line down 10 points with guys that can do it over and above with even without. Minnesota's got to go balls to the walls. They got to blast these guys. Julius Randle's got to go well over. Julius Randle's got to have a 30. He's got to make a bunch of threes. This has got to be a 3-point game, I think, in this case here. Anthony Edwards, sure, the whole deal, but to me, this is a situation where there's just this line's come down too much. The last game was tight. I get it. I think the game plan changes a little bit. It evolves a little bit more with Minnesota being at home. Yeah, they should probably want to go out there and try to shut down Golden State. I just don't think you're going to. I think that when you take out the star player like a Steph Curry, it opens things up. Now, the line coming down as much as it did from the last game I'm referencing. I'm not talking about, I know it's only come down a couple of points here, but just against that last game. 99-88 was that last game. Yeah, that's a pretty low scoring game. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to recognize there was about 180 points scored in that thing here. But I think without Curry, it opens up a different game plan. I think it's going to pick up the pace a little bit more. And I think both teams are going to pick up the pace out there. You're going to see a lot faster a game. And look, Buddy Hield does have that illness tag. It's kind of questioning what there's like a real mystery around why is he sick? He's kind of been sick, then he wasn't sick, now he's sick again. What the fuck's he got? But either way, he's got 3 points. He can splash everybody, and I think it's a good opportunity for us to take the over. So I locked in the over for me in this game. Look, I'm leaning strongly to the first half. The first halves have been pretty successful. We saw that with the Celtics. We saw it again yesterday with OKC. I like these first half spots. I do like the 6.5, laying the 6.5 with Minnesota. But for me, I just want to see points. And then if I got to readjust or reset based on what I'm seeing with the game flow, then I will certainly do that. That's it. That's all we got, you guys. That's how we put the bow on the show. Great takeaways. Thank you guys all for giving the feedback. And I will make sure that we are ready to rock and roll here in about 5-10 minutes to get this thing going live. Going to go out there, going to get the boys together. So He says, I can't renew my subscription on the iPad. This YouTube interface for Apple continues to disappoint. Can gift subs. Can't even buy my own meow. Meow, wait just one damn minute. Make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. Leave a comment with your favorite bets. If you're tailing, if you're fading, what you're doing with player props in the comments after the show. That helps us a ton. You guys have been doing a fantastic job with that. So I really want to say thank you again for that. All you guys coming in here watching, let's get some money tonight. Let's get to this live stream and let's beat these bookies up here. Big night. Phillies already take a 1-0 lead. Let's go. Let's have a great night, you guys. I'll see you real soon. Peace.